Good.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the American Sports Connection. I'm your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I'm here with my buddy Ryan Ennis. Ryan, how are you?
I'm doing swell. How are you on this beautiful day?
I'm doing well. It's actually kind of chilly here. It was like 52 this morning.
Yeah, for me, this is beautiful. I love this weather. I'm
Oh,
a
me
fat
too.
guy trapped in a skinny guy's body.
So you've been a busy guy. That's why and I had some different things going on. That's why we're just catching up. You were in Oregon for, about a week?
No, 4 days. We
Okay.
went on. We landed Thursday night and we left Monday morning. So it was 3, but yeah, 4 nights.
How was your trip?
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. I love Portland. It was one of the nicest places that I've ever been to. People were real cool. Weather is beautiful. No humidity. It gets cool at night, so you can have some nice fucking weather during the day and be able to like chill at night. I loved it. It's one of the few places I'd actually go back to. Weed's legal. I don't know. It's just a really nice place. So I would definitely recommend people go if they want like a nice chill vacation.
Yeah, from everything you said, it's nice. How long was the flight from New York?
5 hours going.
Yeah.
5 hours, 15 minutes. It wasn't bad. It's you're basically going to California, so now it's a little bit north of California. So
Yeah, it sounds like fun. I'm gonna have to check it out in the near future.
yeah, man. I had a good time there. The people were super nice. We stayed in Airbnb, so I had a place to smoke. It was a 420 friendly house. It was nice to go get a coffee in the morning, sit out on the porch, and just smoke a joint. And no, it was completely illegal. I could wave at people with the joint in my hand, and people would just wave back. No one would think anything bad. It was a different kind of place, man.
Yeah, it sounds like a completely different world.
Yeah, it reminded me a lot of where I grew up in Brooklyn, like a little village within the city kind of area, or at least the suburb that we were staying at. We also went to a Ring of Honor show, which it's kind of a nothing show, but it made kind of headlines because that's where Velvet Sky and Mandy Leon got into it with a fan, and Mandy Leon spit in a fan's face because the fan was being completely unruly, and then apparently Bully Ray had him taken to the back where he confronted him.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with fans today. They think, and this isn't just wrestling. I mean, in sports and things in general, that just because you pay a ticket doesn't mean you can say, certain things.
Well, I did not like Ring of Honor's response where they were like, we encourage fans to engage with blah blah blah. They basically blamed the wrestlers for the way that they acted. Now, granted, I'm not for spitting on anybody in any situation ever. Ever. I don't care. Like, you don't lower yourself to animalistic standards. I just don't care. You don't spit on somebody.
Yeah, that's the most disgusting thing you could ever do.
Yeah, and I told my wife, I said, something had to have just happened. I said, because that wrestler just spit on a fan. Because you could see it. It was a big, she hocked a big fucking spit. And
Oh.
yeah. Now, Granted, I don't blame Velvet one bit for calling the guy a pussy and for responding. I don't think anybody should have spit. But I don't know if I have a problem with the guy getting grabbed up and brought to the back and being confronted by Bully Ray. Because apparently he did it the night before as well in Kent, Washington. And apparently he's known for being one of those fans that tries to get involved in shit.
Yeah, that's not cool. And then last weekend, Taya Valkyrie had a similar situation happen at the arena.
What arena?
The old ECW arena.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, it's from what I saw with that dude was completely in the wrong. He spit on her, if I remember right.
Yes, and then she knocked his beer out of his hand.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's the fact that here are these big guys that they can like talk shit to, and they're not supposed to be able to react, so they can feel like they're big and tough. Like, look at all the shit I talked to this big tough guy who in any other condition would whoop the shit out of me.
Yeah, that you'd be like 6 feet under.
I mean, like, look, I understand booing somebody, but if you're like the guys in front of us, like they'd both get into it, and then one would like turn around kind of and catch like the dirty look I'd shoot them because they were screaming vulgar things, and then one guy would realize they were in the wrong while his friend would continue. And there was a couple times that he'd actually turn around and apologize and be like, "No, sorry, my friend just hasn't been to a show in a while." And I'm like, "Man, it's all good. Everyone's just having a good time." But it's just like I'm trying to give him this look, like, bro, like
That's not cool.
yeah, the guy's talking about, fuck him in his cunt, and it's just like,
You don't say that because, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm assuming there's young children around.
I didn't see a lot, but yes, there was some kids there. I mean, it's not a PG company, but you don't need to be rated R. Like, you're part of the crowd. Like, the crowd shouldn't be more offensive than the product.
I'll give you an example. You talk about this at one of Tremont's shows. I don't know if I had ever mentioned this. He used to have, I don't think he's going to do it anymore now after this happened. He would have 50-50, which every indie company does, smaller ones.
Yeah.
And the main event was like a lumberjack match. And if your number got called, you could be one of the lumberjacks, and they gave you a not a belt strap, but something like a leather strap, like you could whip the wrestler with.
Okay.
So one person was called, and I'm either assuming they were drunk or they were very excited, I guess would be the word, to like be involved. And they threw the quote unquote, bad guy out into the lumberjacks. And this dude like jumped over like two people and starts wailing on the guy. I mean, hitting him in the face and everything. And I'm like, whoa, that's too much, man.
How did the guy react?
He like the worker tried to like jump back in the ring.
Yeah, man, I'm not for that. Like, I'm not for.
I talked to him afterwards, and he was like, "I would have rather gotten my ass kicked in the ring."
Yeah, no, because they can't even defend themselves, bro. Like, that was me.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, I understand it's a cool idea, like to have fan interaction, but there's got to be like a safer way, I guess you would say.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. I don't think fans should be getting involved like that. I just don't.
No, I understand. It's just crazy where like you see all this stuff happening lately.
Yeah.
I wonder if a lot of it is alcohol induced.
I don't know, but I don't get it. I don't understand how people act this way in public in general. Like,
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I mean, at first I thought Velvet Sky was being very unprofessional until I knew the deals of it. Because regardless, I didn't know what Mandy Leon had to do with it. She spit on somebody, and I'm like, oh, something big had to happen. And then Velvet's just like in the ring telling the guy to come in, and I could read her lips. She's like, "You're a pussy. You're a fucking pussy." Now, granted, if he was talking all this shit, then I'm not against that. Like, wrestlers are human; they can only take so much. But not knowing what was happening, and I'm like, "Ooh, that's kind of unprofessional." But knowing that this guy was actually like doing something, something actually happened, I was cool. You know, I was all right with it. Like, you have to be able to defend yourself to some extent.
Especially if I think there's a line as a fan, like you can boo, you could say, certain things that are derogatory, but there's a line I don't think you should cross.
I also think he was saying very sexual stuff too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's not cool.
Yeah, I mean, like you want to say you suck, you're ugly, like keep it wrestling related. Calling somebody a fucking whore or telling somebody to suck your dick. That has nothing to do with wrestling. Like that's you making a personal attack. That's just you being offensive and derogatory. And I don't understand how people don't expect people to respond to that.
Yeah, we're all human, man.
So I mean, other than that, I enjoyed the show. Can't really tell you what happened because I was eating edibles the entire night.
Well, to be honest with you, I haven't really watched Ring of Honor in a long time.
I haven't either, but my wife wanted to do something really nice for my birthday, and I thought it was going to be a local show when I told her. And when she was like, how about Portland, Oregon? And I was like, oh, because she paid for everything. Like, I will say, this is why I
That's
tell
awesome.
people I'm so lucky. Um,
Because if I remember correctly, there's a couple good indie promotions in Oregon.
Oh, I have no idea, but all I know is after we booked it, I found out that fucking NXT was gonna be in fucking Bridgeport, Connecticut, which is not far from me at all. On the same weekend that I picked to go out to Oregon, and I'm like, oh man, I picked to go to. I was like, it was cool that we got to go all the way out there, but I'm like,
Yeah.
I would much rather go to NXT because I mean, like, I've only been to NXT takeovers that have had to do with other big events, like the SummerSlam ones,
Yeah.
or the one before Mania, just to have a. I don't think there was one before Mania the year I went. I don't think NXT was a thing.
Huh.
But no, this would have been cool because it was just a standalone event. It had nothing to do with any main roster stuff.
Yeah, that would have been fun.
But yeah, it was a good trip. And then last week, what was it? I wasn't feeling well. You weren't feeling well.
No, you had
Oh, my mother.
something with
Yeah,
your mom.
yeah. My mom wasn't doing too hot, so I went to go see her. Everything's good though. Everything, thank God, is good. So.
Well, that's good because I remember you had said she wasn't doing real well.
Well, they got her. They got her diagnosed now with viral pneumonia. Apparently, her boss had it, and he's kind of like me and doesn't go to the doctor unless he's like dying sick. And it kind of was like there, but not really bad. So my mom ended up catching it, so she's had to take a week off of work.
Yeah, that viral pneumonia shit's no joke.
Yeah, so
That almost reminds me. I was it was in between our shows. I was really sick, and I went to the ER, which I never do ever.
okay.
And because I knew I was dehydrated, and I was like, if I don't go, this is going to be bad, and I'm going to like, where you're going to like have to stay for a few days. So I went at like I think it was like 2 in the morning because the local ER is a block from my house, and they gave me. I always laugh. They gave me a banana bag, which for those that don't know is like a giant thing of like IV fluids, basically to hydrate you so you don't get dehydrated. And then they gave me a shot of morphine
Oh
and
boy.
let me sit there for like about 2 hours, and then they let me drive home.
That's crazy.
which is insane to think about. I mean, granted, I live a block away, but I was like, the more I thought about it after I like kind of,
Yeah, because that's what I said to you, and you were like, "Yeah, but I only live a block away." And I'm like, I'm surprised you drove. I'm surprised, like,
yeah, I
you were
know.
willing, like,
I think it was I was still like under the influence, if you catch my drift.
that's
Because I don't really
crazy.
remember a lot. I just remember, like, I was like, wait a minute, I drove. Why the fuck did I drive home?
Yeah, I would have been like, "No, I'm not driving home."
Because when I got home, my mom's like, "How did you get here?" And she saw me like when I was walking. I was almost like, where you're kind of like leaning and shit.
That's crazy.
I know. I was like, man, I could have really fucking hurt somebody.
That's nuts, bro.
I know. So thankfully, that all ended well. I lost like, God, like 20 or 25 pounds from where I was so sick.
Jesus, if I lost 25 pounds, I'd be dead.
Yeah. But anyway, before we get into some more wrestling news, because there's a lot to talk about, don't forget to check out our social media stuff: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at ASC Pods. You can find our entire catalog on B Plus Player Radio. Check them out on Twitter at B Plus Radio. Also, don't forget to check out their sponsors over at Audible. You can get a free 30-day trial. Listen to audiobooks, podcasts, comedy stuff, whatever you like. Go to audibletrial.com/B plus players. And don't forget to check out our sponsors over at Too Sweet Magazine. Find them on Twitter at 2TOO Sweet Mag. All right, where do you want to start out with Kota Ibushi almost killing himself?
Oh, bro, I watched that. Like, I intended to be up early to watch it, and I didn't. So I was just skimming through, and by sheer dumb luck, I happened to click like a second before that. I was like, oh, let me see what's going to happen here. Oh my god, he split his skull open. He's fucking dead, because I know he has his whole history of neck injuries.
Yes.
So I'm like, that's it. This dude's fucking dead. That's it. And he looked it too. Like, he had like that stiff arm. Like, when somebody's out, it's like, I know somebody in WWE's out when they hit the ground and their arm stays stuck out for a second. It doesn't quite hit the ground yet. You know what I'm talking about? Like, when fucking...
Yes.
Who was it? Eve Torres or Layla? One of them was on the top rope and their feet didn't clear and landed face first and broke their collarbone but knocked themselves completely out.
Yeah, where you're like stiff as a board.
Yeah. And dude did that. I'm like, yo. And then this is what I hate about Japan, bro. They continued the match.
Yes.
I did not watch after that. I'm not ashamed to say it. I found out who won. After that, I couldn't watch him take bumps on his head. I just couldn't. Knowing his history already, I just couldn't.
Well, I don't know. Did you hear the update on him?
No.
Apparently, he's suffering from vision loss.
Bro, I'm surprised he didn't die. Like, and I don't even mean that to be like, haha, LOL. Bro, he got the fucking corner with his whole body weight coming up and over.
Yeah. Hang on,
Bro,
I'm trying to find
that's
the...
so bad. Like, I could not continue to watch. I'm like, yo, his skull is cracked. There's no way his skull isn't cracked open right now. Like, I no longer found that enjoyable. I have no desire to see that match. I put that in the same category as Sid breaking his leg and fucking Eddie Guerrero blading himself. Like, it's something I don't want to see.
Yeah, the one that was really bad when JBL hit him with the chair.
Yeah, and then Eddie fucking gashed his fucking forehead deep, and it looked like a massacre. I will never rewatch that match. I can't.
Yeah.
Because I know he fainted in the back and was in the hospital for a couple of days due to he had to have a blood transfusion.
Yeah, here's what I was trying to find. It says Ibushi got his eye checked out. There's still a lot of swelling and pressure, while and his ability to see has dropped. After his eye exam, it seems there might be some change in his vision in both eyes.
Yeah, bro, that may be a fucking hematoma. That's the same shit that what's his name had.
The other Japanese guy.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's Shibata.
Yes.
Yeah, and isn't Shibata the one that just showed up with fucking Kenta?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
But yeah, I mean, look, with what's happened to not Tanahashi, Himaru, what the fuck is his name? Time Splitter.
I know who you're talking about.
He breaks his fucking neck. The match continues. Kota Ibushi nearly dies. The match continues. I mean, like, look, I get these guys have fucking fighting spirit, but I don't want to see these guys fucking die in the ring. Like, that's not why I watch wrestling.
Yeah, we don't need another Mizawa.
Exactly, and that's just so like the people who hear me shit on deathmatch. It's not just deathmatch. I don't want to see people getting hurt doing this. Like I don't like that's not where my enjoyment comes from, and it's not that it's not bad for anybody who likes that stuff. By all means, I don't mean to ever put anybody down. If that's what you like, that's what you like. I just I know head injuries, and I can't watch stuff like fucking people taking headshots and shit like that because I
I
know
was gonna
what.
say that, and I know you don't like blood.
Well, I mean, like, look, I thought it was absolutely, whether it was intentional or not, it added to the Cody and Dustin feud.
Oh yeah, I know that, but I meant just
Oh
in
yeah,
general.
yeah, I'm a squeamish person. Yeah, I'm just not a fan, and I don't want to see somebody lacerated or puncture wounds. If somebody gets busted open in a match, like that's why I can't do it with Eddie. Eddie's was too much for me.
Hey man, to each their own. You know what I mean?
That was like watching somebody get slaughtered, though. Eddie was too far. Eddie was too much. Eddie almost died. Like, that's too far. When you need a blood transfusion after a match, that's
Yeah,
too far.
I agree. Um, I don't know if you heard this news. It came out last night. I want to make sure I say her name right. So bear with me. Um, it's Session Moth Martina has signed with WWE.
Yeah, I tried looking some of her stuff up. Like, I don't know, bro.
Well, from what I read, she signed for NXT UK.
Maybe she'll work there. But, I mean, like, her whole gimmick, she's like a dirty, like, she's a mix between Sandman and ODB.
Yes, and from what I've heard from a couple different people, the reason she signed on with NXT UK is because she's banned from the US for I think 5 years.
Oh, so she's in the same category as that other chick.
But
Matthews? Nicole Matthews?
from what I've heard from some different people, is she didn't report certain earnings she made while she was in the States.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, yeah, the IRS will always get you.
That's weird.
Because it's the funny thing is, she was supposed to do Tournament of Death next Saturday, but then she pulled out. So I was like, oh, okay, now I understand why.
Interesting.
Everyone's favorite wrestler in WWE, Lars Sullivan, is apparently injured.
Yeah, you told me this. This was news to me. I hadn't heard this before. So, what's
It's
the?
uh, it's apparently bad enough that he's going to get an MRI on it.
Look, I don't know why he lost at Super Showdown like that, or why he won at Super Showdown the way he did, because he won via DQ and they all beat the shit out of him. Um, I don't think anybody's on board with it. I think a lot of people know his past. I don't think people are going to be as willing to look over a lot of the very hateful comments he made. Um,
I know people deserve a second chance, but he said some pretty awful shit.
yeah, he really did. I mean, it's and it wasn't like a one-time statement. It was like a consistent, and it was in just in the same vein as this. I don't, I don't believe he. I don't know him, so like now that I'm saying that out loud, I realize I'm not in a place to say that I don't believe him because I don't know. Because apparently he really has gone out of his way to go apologize to the roster members that are of color.
It's just it's really hard to how do I want to say this? Fix the damage when you've done when you've said stuff that bad.
Yeah. Again, it comes down to it comes down to the people. I guess the only, and I can't even say it's reasonable because I don't speak for anybody, so like I'd be completely improper for telling somebody was reasonable. Is if he just comes out and says, "Look, I'm a fucking hillbilly from a backwood town who watched Fox News my entire life, and I never actually knew people of color. And now that I'm around people of color, I realize everything I was taught and learned was completely, bullshit propaganda."
Because that's very possible.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't excuse it whatsoever. Knowing what
No, but
there's,
it at least you're like, okay, you kind of understand it.
yeah, it's more like, all right, so, but that's also not for me to accept.
Yeah,
That comes
definitely.
down to, it's not for me to accept a white guy's apology for him being racist. It's me, you don't belong in this conversation.
Yes. All
I mean,
right. Go ahead.
so.
I'm sorry.
No, no, no. It's something that we can have our opinions, but our opinions, at the end of the day, really don't carry any weight whatsoever because, we can't speak for anybody else.
No, I completely agree with you. I wanted to talk about, and this is a spoiler, so if people don't want to hear this, wait a couple seconds and turn off your stuff so you don't hear it. NXT at the tapings this, I think it was 2 days ago. They've announced the NXT Breakout Tournament.
I
Which,
love the idea.
yeah, because it's basically people that haven't been on television yet.
Yeah, and it's quite a group of people too.
Yeah, like a who's who.
A lot of people that I don't think a lot of people realize have signed with WWE.
Yeah, I have the list in front of me. It's Angel Garza, who was Garza Jr., Joaquin Wild, who was DJZ on the Independents.
Let me just correct something. That's Joaquin,
Oh, my bad.
like Joaquin Phoenix, the
I
actor.
sorry about that.
I know it's one of them weird Brazilian names that it's not pronounced anywhere near how it looks, but you know, uh, that's just for future reference. I said the same thing for
No,
like
I
3
appreciate
years
it.
until somebody
Uh,
was like, "You mean Joaquin?" And I was like, "Oh, I guess so."
All right, Cameron Grimes, who's Trevor Lee.
Yes, I really like him a lot.
Isaiah Swerve Scott, who is Shane Strickland, or as other people would know him as Killshot from Lucha Underground.
Oh, that's who that. Okay, I knew the name sounded familiar. Okay.
Because I know him from when he was on the Independents. That was his thing, Swerve.
Oh, okay.
Like that was his whole thing, and he would come out to like a song like Rich Swan does now, like one of those like get people dancing kind of songs.
Yeah, because people were shitting all over the name I saw online. I guess people don't know that that was his original East Coast name.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's what I'm assuming. Let's see here. Jordan Miles, who is ACH. I've never really seen a lot of his work.
I remember him during the time that I was watching Ring of Honor, like when I was going with Ryan Clark. I think he was around even back that far.
Oh wow.
I'm pretty sure he was around back there. I think it was him and, oh, what the fuck is his name? The very charismatic black guy. I know you know who I'm talking about. I don't. He may have even been on Impact before. Desmond, no. It's
It'll
gonna
come to
drive.
you eventually.
Yeah, it's gonna drive me fucking crazy.
Oh,
Cause
I know what you
oh,
mean.
Kenny King.
Yeah, I like Kenny King.
I think they were a tag team. Oh, ACH was in a tag team with somebody.
You might be right because Kenny King at one point was with.
I know that he was in the All Night Express. And I don't remember who his tag team partner was for that.
He was. Oh God, that's gonna drive me nuts. I'm seeing his face. Rhett Titus at one point.
Yeah. But I know there was two black guys, and I don't want to make it sound like I'm just generalizing, but I'm 99% sure ACH was one of the two guys.
No, that's cool. Let's see here. The other two that are in this tournament is Dexter Loomis, who's Samuel Shaw.
Dexter Loomis.
Yeah, that's such a very bland name, I must say.
I thought he was given another name like a couple days ago because I was. But okay, I guess they renamed him because I was pretty sure it wasn't Dexter Loomis. I pretty sure I would have remembered a name like that. But.
Yeah, I hear you. And Bronson Reed is Jonah Rock.
I have no idea who he is.
I know the name.
Is he a wrestler or is he like a guy who came from another sport who turned into a wrestler?
I know the name. Give me a second. I'm gonna throw him in the Google machine.
Yeah, but no, I am in love with the idea of this tournament. It's a way to get, was it 8 people?
Yeah. Oh, he's the huge Australian guy.
Okay. Australian or like Samoan?
No, he's Australian.
Okay.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, with a name like Jonah Rock.
You would hope so.
I wonder if that's his like real name or if that's his work name.
No idea.
But
I'm really intrigued to watch this tournament.
I think it's a good idea. It'll definitely get me to watch NXT like more often because I will admit I don't always watch a hell of a lot of NXT.
Me neither.
And I feel bad because I know it's their better product, so I'm in that group of people who should be watching it, but doesn't.
I'm the same way.
Makes me wonder how many diehards like us are actually in that group.
Yeah, because remember...
And if we're the problem?
Yeah. I wonder if it's, like we had talked about before, wrestling overload.
I really think that it is, but, and we're just so conditioned for most of our lives that we will watch Raw and SmackDown, but we won't go and watch something we know is going to be better.
Yeah, that too. Here's some other news. I don't know if you had heard about this. Did you hear about Brodus Clay?
I heard something. I heard he got arrested.
Apparently...
Did he got arrested, though, right?
I'm not aware of him being arrested, but he was accused of sexual harassment by...
Oh, okay. That's right.
Someone on the Fox News show that he was on.
Okay, yeah, I did hear that. Yeah, so he didn't... Because I saw a meme, it said somebody call my lawyer.
That's messed up.
Yeah, I kind of cracked up when I saw that.
It says here he was allegedly sending inappropriate texts to his co-host.
Oh, boy.
He has since been removed from the show. It's called Un-PC and placed on his own program called Nuff Said.
Yeah, on fucking like Fox News, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like their streaming service, or it's not actual Fox News, it's something else that they have.
Yeah, and it's like they love him because he's a person of color who agrees with everything they say.
I gotta tell you, I don't like to be negative about people, but every time I've gone to a convention and seen him there. He's like been,
Miserable.
yeah,
Looks like he doesn't want to be there.
yes.
I think he was called out for that.
Like, I'll give you an example. He would, when fans would come up, he would keep his head down and just sign whatever they wanted, make no eye contact with the person, and just hand it right back to him. Like, he would just look completely disinterested.
Yeah, that's not cool.
And my whole thinking is, well, if you're coming and like people want to see you, at least be cordial for Christ's sake.
Yeah, I'm kind of in that set of belief. I mean, people spend the money to come get your autograph. If you don't want to be there, then don't come.
Exactly.
But
Now,
people, I don't know. Shit like that bothers me.
no, I agree with you. Did you hear the? Hang on, I want to make sure I get his name right before I mention it. What the guy from USC, yeah, UFC said that WWE offered him a contract.
To show up without the wait, who? Chael Sonnen?
Yes.
He's been saying that story for fucking years. I don't think anybody believes that story. I mean, it may be true. It may be true, but he's been saying that like that wasn't no. I don't know why he's still telling that story. Like I don't know what the topic of conversation was that brought that up, but yeah, no, he's been telling that story for years that they offered him to either no show the fight or if he did win, show up with the title. He's been saying that for. Chael Sonnen is his own fucking biggest fan.
Okay.
But yeah, that's if it's true or not, I don't know. But I've known that for a long time.
I wonder if it's just to get people talking.
No, because he brings. I mean, he's brought it up enough that anybody who would spread that knowledge has already long known about it.
Gotcha. We got to talk about, because it's been a while since we were here, about Jon Moxley.
Yeah, man. He had a great debut at Double or Nothing. He's gone on to have this podcasting tour that he's done, where he's kind of revealed what, in his perception, are the problems within WWE, and made a name for himself in New Japan in the process.
Him and Juice Robinson had a really good match.
Yeah. Juice Robinson's a good worker. I like Juice. I've always liked Juice. I didn't like him in NXT because they gave him a shitty gimmick.
Right, but it just shows you that Moxley can do his part if you let him.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, it's... I just never liked his character, and that's why he never did it for me. And hearing, why his character was the way it was, it kind of makes some sense now.
Yeah, I always liked him just because he was like, hey, he's the indie guy that we know, and you know what I mean? But yeah, it was just, the goofiness was the shit I hated.
Yeah, and, hearing him on the podcasts, and hearing the reaction apparently was that even people who knew him didn't feel like he went into business for himself, that he was actually talking about shit that was legitimate, things that people agreed with, about how the process is just broken, everything has to go through Vince, and Vince is known just for firing fucking writers on a whim, so people don't want to go with him with ideas. So yeah, he's just so diluted and out of touch. He actually went way more in depth on Wade Keller's podcast, although I hate the way Wade Keller interviews. He just talks.
And I hate that he has I don't mind advertisements, but his ones are annoying to me.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But I mean, it was cool that he went so in depth about everything.
Yes, Yeah, and that people tend to agree with him that this is how things are within the company.
Well, Jericho said that he's had, after Moxley did his interview, I want to say he said at least three or four guys that are currently in WWE like get a hold of him, and they were said that they're not renewing their deals, and when they're allowed to, they want they want to come on his show and talk like Moxley did.
Yeah, no, I heard the same thing that there were people waiting to have their own John Moxley interview on Talker's Jericho.
Which is interesting.
And some here, there's going to be a couple more spoilers. Let me pull them up because this is actually like because you haven't read yesterday's spoilers, right?
Correct.
All right, so this can be spoilers for you too. I read this morning and I was just kind of like, huh, like holy shit, like this is what you call trying. Okay. Kushida defeated a returning Apollo Crews.
Well, that's interesting.
Um, Io Shirai turned heel.
Yes.
Okay. Let me see. Tyler Breeze defeated Jackson Riker, got beaten up, and then Fandango returned.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Uh, Pete Dunne is now apparently filming stuff for NXT.
Huh.
The final is going to end up being Grimes, who is Trevor Lee, and I believe ACH is the other. Oh wait, hold on, 75. Jordan Miles, that's ACH.
Yes, I believe so.
So yeah, it's gonna be Jordan Miles and Cameron Grimes at the pay-per-view. Looks like it's gonna be Baszler versus Mia Yim at the pay-per-view,
Nice.
and Undisputed Era and Street Profits.
Eh.
Um, Velveteen Dream and Pete Dunne for the title,
Oh, wow.
and I'm trying to figure out who the fuck is gonna go. Maybe Colin Gargano.
Maybe.
So I think that's where it is. And there was another return, but I forget who made the return. I thought there was another return.
I'll tell you, it's funny. I had to look up this one name because it wasn't like registering to me, and then I Googled it, and it's Punishment Martinez's new name.
Oh yeah, yeah, Damian Priest.
I was like, who the fuck is this guy? Then I was like, oh, okay. But apparently, cover your ears if you don't want to hear this. He beats Keith Lee at the recent set of tapings.
Like, because I don't see that here anywhere.
Or at least I
Unless,
thought I did. That's why I was like, wow.
uh, Damian Priest defeated Raul Mendoza. Then Keith Lee squashed Nikos Ricos.
Yeah, maybe it was somewhere later.
And then Damian Priest defeated Blanco Loco.
Not familiar with him.
No. And this is the night before last taping.
Okay.
So, I mean, there's a chance it happened.
Oh,
Oh,
I
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to-
yeah. It happened last night.
Oh, okay.
But it was, it wasn't clean. I'm just going to leave it at that.
Gotcha. I wanted to mention because you had messaged me one day about it. The Viceland series on wrestling they've had, like the one was like Macho Man and Elizabeth, and I think one was like Bruiser Brody, and they're really well done.
Yeah, I've watched part of the first one. It's just I don't have time to just sit and watch stuff. But yeah, what I've seen so far, it was really good. And I look forward to watching all of them. I've heard nothing but good things about them, so I look forward to it.
Yeah, the one that I'm forgetting his name. Because it was the one I enjoyed the most, but it was a guy that me or you never really saw wrestle because he died in the early. No, it might have been the middle '80s.
What, Brody?
Not Brody. It was another. It was a guy from Texas.
Von Erichs?
Yeah, no. This is going to bother me now.
And Viceland did one on it?
Yeah,
Hold on.
and because apparently he died of a cocaine overdose, or he mixed like cocaine and alcohol or something.
Well, Danny Havoc is in one
Gino
of them.
Hernandez, that's
Oh,
who
I
it
have
was.
no idea who the fuck that is.
I couldn't remember the name, and it just came to me. That's a really good episode too.
I do want to kind of fucking find the because it was sent to me by Lance, and I can't find it again. The Kenny Omega Man documentary,
Oh yeah, I want to check that out.
and I haven't been able to find it anywhere.
I wanted to ask you because I haven't seen it, and I trust your opinion more than others. How was Jericho and Okada?
I didn't even watch it. I don't like Jericho. Like, I'm so over Jericho.
Really?
I've been over Jericho for a while. I really have been. I haven't really been amazed by his match. If I take away the fact that it's Chris Jericho, I don't know if any of his matches have really been like wonderful. Like I found out he didn't win. I didn't care to see the match.
And I'm not knocking him because of his age, but he's looking kind of not
Super
in
dad
shape.
bod. Yes, super dad bod.
And I will say this because we didn't get to talk about Double or Nothing the way everything's going on, but I really did not like his like spinning back fist thing.
Oh, his spinning elbow, he tries to sell as the most dangerous move in fucking MMA. So he tries to actually say that they don't even teach it in most dojos. What? It's a spinning back elbow. Like, what are you talking about?
It looked terrible.
It's fucking awful.
Like, I mean, I liked that at least they went a different way and didn't let Omega win, like, because it would have been kind of obvious, you know?
Yeah, but to have him win with that shitty fucking...
Oh, no, I know. I was like, ugh.
Oh, shit. I actually found it.
There you go. You got something to watch later.
Woo! There you go. Nice. Good shit.
I don't know if I've been reading this and I cringed as I saw the headline. WWE has been teasing Cardi B appearing at SummerSlam.
I don't hate on Cardi.
No, I was just like, oh.
Here's what happened. Somebody asked her about a question about something in wrestling, and she brought up Eddie Guerrero, and then
Yeah, she said she was a fan from back in the day.
Yeah, I think she liked wrestling when she was a little girl. Now WWE's trying to trump it up is that Cardi B is this big wrestling fan. But look, wrestling's always been a crossover between pop culture and sports entertainment. Always have completely okay if they want to have fucking Cardi B, so long as it's not her and her husband in a wrestling ring trying to fucking wrestle. Like, that's where I draw the line. You want to have them promote, wrestling's always been part of that. She is the most current thing right now. If it's going to bring more views to wrestling, fine. But make the product better. Like, give us a good product.
I was going to say maybe they would have her just perform You know, like how they have somebody usually perform at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I'm completely cool with that. They a lot of the time they get people that either are like low tier on the music scale or have had one song and nobody's ever heard of them. Like they had a rapper and I'm like, I've never heard of him. Why is he rapping at WrestleMania? Like I legit have no idea who this fucking guy is, and he's just like you couldn't get anybody else. You got a guy that no one's ever heard of. I still can't tell you the dude's name because I've heard his name recently. I was like, oh, that's the guy I'd never heard of before. Down the line, like now, how many years later? I still can't tell you his name. 5 years later, still can't
That's
tell you
funny.
what the fuck his name is or a single song he's done. But he performed at WrestleMania.
Yeah, you can always put that on the resume.
But okay, let's talk about how awful Super Showdown was.
Oh,
Bro, that was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. Like, that pay-per-view did absolutely nothing. Roman Reigns loses to Shane McMahon. The guy who beat The Undertaker, the guy who beat the guy who beat The Streak, loses to Shane McMahon.
yeah.
Now, there's a popular misconception going around the internet right now. It's not really a misconception. There's a news story going around that's saying that Shane McMahon is going to be the one to beat Kofi Kingston for the title. Now, let me just frame this a little. This comes from a quote from somebody from, I think it's WrestleVotes, who said what the payoff right now to this whole Shane McMahon thing is. And his source says, I don't know, but it wouldn't blow my mind. And this was this guy's random opinion, not based on fact, because it wouldn't surprise me if he's the one who ends up beating Kofi Kingston for the title. It works, but the source said that there's no idea where this is going, and it wouldn't blow his mind if that's where this is going. So by no means is that confirmed. By no means is that actually a rumor. This was somebody's opinion that that's where this could go.
Yeah, then and the wrestling sites went wild with that.
Yeah, and I don't think that the entirety of the tweet was being put into proper view, because it seemed like they were all reporting that this is what's going to be in the works and this is what's being discussed, where this was a source's opinion just basically saying I wouldn't be surprised if this is where it went. So there's no actual knowledge of where it's going. 'Cause the guy says I don't know, or the source said I don't know, but I wouldn't be surprised. So doesn't mean it's going to happen. Doesn't mean it's likely going to happen. This is one person's, I don't even want to say opinion. This is one person's thought process.
Could you imagine if they did that? How angry people would be.
I don't. Yes, but I don't think it would cause the massive dip in the ratings that it should. Like, I don't know if there's one thing that WWE can do that would cause mass tanking short of, like, bull-faced racism or, like, rape or something, like, truly horrific being taught. Because people kept watching with Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if there's a kill shot. So I don't know if putting the title on Shane. I think it would be bad for business, but I don't see it being 1 million people stop watching in a week.
I hear you.
I think we're so conditioned that people would actually tune in to watch.
I agree with you, and I know a lot of people in the wrestling industry have been trying to defend the Undertaker Goldberg match. And my favorite thing that people say is, "Oh, well, they got X amount of money to do that, and they don't care what you think," and blah blah blah. I'm like, but what? How do I want to say this? when is enough enough?
Oh, I agree. And apparently, so does who.
Because,
Go ahead.
and this is in no way how I feel, about the Undertaker. Because I respect the dude times a million, but he damn near broke Bill Goldberg's neck.
Yeah. I mean, part of that is also
Is
Gold.
on him, yeah.
I mean, because Goldberg also has to hold on too. I mean, it works both ways. I mean, it's.
But it was just terrible. And I think that's being kind to terrible.
Yeah, I mean, like, before Goldberg split his head open, though, other than the fucking leg vine, it was an okay fucking Goldberg match.
Yeah, it was what you would expect.
I also know it's 100 degrees there. Sorry.
Easy there.
I took a sip of coffee, went down the wrong tube.
Well, let me put it to you this way: you saw the Undertaker's face after the pin.
Yeah, I mean, he just, miserable. I mean,
He looked annoyed.
He's in there with a 50-year-old, not in wrestling shape, who's knocked out. I mean, the last time he did one of these matches, he was in the ring with a 50-year-old who had torn his fucking pec off the bone.
Mm-hmm.
I could truly see the Undertaker just being tired of this shit. Especially if he could still go and he keeps being put in these situations where he's limited. He's got through all of this rehab, all of this surgery, and he keeps being put in these situations with people who, aren't up to his par, and his par is still fairly low compared to where it used to be.
Right. That's why you should have a somewhat, younger talent with him that'll be able to carry him through a good match.
Thank you. Fucking thank you. Undertaker should not be the one carrying people through matches at this point.
No.
I respect the guy, but he's given us almost 30 years of his life. And as a 7-foot man, that's an astounding career. It's time to let him go with dignity.
I agree. I mean, the guy got his hip replaced, for Christ's sake.
However, and now let me just throw this out there. Undertaker willfully just re-signed. And we know this because he had that deal with WrestleCade. Not WrestleCade. Yeah. Starcast. He had that deal with Starcast. And then he re-signed and reneged on the Starcast thing. So he chose to re-sign. So I could only feel so bad because he just re-signed. I'm sure he didn't have to go to Saudi Arabia. I'm sure that was part of him re-signing. They didn't sign him and go, oh, by the way, now we need you to go to Saudi Arabia.
All I can say is he must have got a pretty penny to go over there.
Yeah, I mean, look, the match sucked. Do I think he should be wrestling? No, but I am not going to fault WWE when he chose. It's not like he's in the middle of this contract where he's
No, I hear you completely.
He was just in a position where he was able to license himself out. What the fuck is that? Hold on. Oh.
I was going to say the best match he's had recently was probably the one he had with Roman.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Other than that, what other match has he had? He had the one with Bray. Then he had that awful tag match where you can't even rank that one because Michaels had to do all the work.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I blame WWE, but I also blame him too because he didn't have to re-sign.
I was going to say no one held a gun to his head.
No, I mean, he was in a position where he was free enough to go book himself places. And he chose to put, I'm positive that when he signed, it was only a couple months ago, I'm sure WWE's been planning this event for a while. And when he re-signed, that was part of it. Nobody made him go. So he accepted a match in Saudi Arabia, Whether it was against Goldberg at the time or not, I don't know, but he chose to put himself in that situation. So, I mean, I can only feel so bad for him.
Oh, speaking of that match, did you see the tweets Matt Riddle put out about that match?
Yeah, did you see the video he had put out at first and then deleted? Like,
Yeah.
you're the worst pro wrestler in the industry.
Because him and Goldberg have legitimate heat.
Yeah, Goldberg blocked him apparently a long time ago on Twitter.
Oh, man. But I will say this. WWE was smart with their booking for that Battle Royal.
You know what? And the only person who believes me is the person I said it to that morning. I said, bro, I'm going to bet you anything that Mansoor wins the Battle Royal today. And he was like, who the fuck is Mansoor? Or did I tell that to you?
You might have.
Because I know I told that to my friend Brandon, and then he's like, well, okay, tell me how you get to this logic. I said, well, the only reason why I know he still exists is because they just started showing him on NXT either a week or two ago. He just had his first televised match. So I'm like, they're going to Saudi Arabia. He's in a position where he can handle, and he's good, bro. Go back, go find his first match on NXT, and realize he's been doing this only since the Greatest Royal Rumble. He's good, bro. He's gonna be fucking good.
He's Mustafa Ali's twin.
A little bit, insofar as they both look Middle Eastern.
But no, I'll give WWE. Excuse me, give WWE credit. They got that one right because that crowd went crazy when he won.
Yeah, and it, to me, I was like, watch him be in and then win, because I figured if I was wrong, it was 1,000,000 to 1 long shot that he was even going to be in it. When I happened to see him in there, I was like, that's it. He's going to fucking win. Like, there's no way they're going to eliminate the Saudi Arabian guy in a show. Like, I guarantee you, they paid for him to win.
Yeah.
Bro, they pay for everything there. If they say, I mean, like, that's a Royal Rumble that means nothing. Nothing. That doesn't get put in history nowhere. It's a footnote. But it meant something that night for him. So, I mean, like, yeah, I told my friend that morning, he's like, okay. You're like, did not believe me. And when I messaged him, I was like, motherfucking Mansoor won. And he's like, I don't know how you knew that, but that's WWE.
I will say this. I really didn't like them having 50 men in there all at once.
51. There were 51 in there.
Okay.
There was one extra, so they couldn't even get that right.
But you get what I'm
was
saying.
50 men and 1 Mansoor.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it was so bad. Like, they had to start dumping people out. And EC3 was the first guy over.
I feel so bad for him.
Do you know what he did wrong?
No.
Okay, this apparently has come out. And Ambrose, I think, is the one who mentioned it. That that after he announced that he wasn't going to be re-signing and they had turned him heel, they had him going against EC3. Remember when they had that throwaway match? And I think EC3 won very quickly?
Yes.
Well, they were wrestling on house shows, and apparently, even though EC3 was supposed to be the babyface and Dean was supposed to be the heel, the crowd was cheering Dean and booing EC3, and that made Vince McMahon mad because they weren't booing, because he wasn't doing his job and getting and allowing, some bullshit like that, just because Dean Ambrose was getting cheered when he was supposed to be a heel.
If you could see me, I'm shaking my head.
I'm pretty sure that came from one of the Jericho interviews.
Yes. Sorry,
yeah.
My allergy started acting up.
So that's apparently where his heat comes from. The fact that Dean, who was an established star, was getting cheered over somebody nobody knew because Vince has done a shit, piss poor job of doing. Even his promo videos was nothing but him throwing a set of expensive keys into a fucking tray or picking up keys.
Oh my god.
Like, you remember when they were doing all the fucking vignettes for people? Like, his had no talking or nothing. It was just,
Yeah.
how the fuck is that supposed to get over? And all you've had him do is spray himself in the back.
Speaking of Ambrose, did you see the Firefly Funhouse this week?
Yes.
When I watched it, it almost felt like it was a direct jab at him and Jericho
How?
because of when the rabbit he's I'm going to tell you what really goes on here. And then Bray grabs him, and you see him with the clown nose and the makeup like Jericho wears on his eyes.
Oh no, but that's just a traditional clown makeup, though.
Okay, then maybe I was reading too much into it.
Yeah, no, because a lot of this stuff with Bray, like, Bray is writing all of this himself. Like, Vince has nothing to do with this. One of the guys Bray went to go work with this, who ended up going with him to Tom. What's that guy's name? You know who I'm talking about.
Tom
The guy.
Savini.
Yes, yes. It was somebody he had worked with Tom Savini also, with Bray, and this has been laid out a long time ago. Everything has meaning. This has multiple layers. I don't think that had anything to do with anything going on other than what's going on in Bray's head.
Okay,
I don't see Bray referencing that as, like, if Vince was writing it, then maybe, but because I even think the new Joker looks like that, the Joaquin Phoenix version.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Joaquin Phoenix?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the new Joker kind of has a look like that, where it's one star, and then I think the other one is just a line over it, like the same kind of just single line. But I think what made that popular is like a Clockwork Orange.
Yeah. And speaking of that new Joker movie, that looks fantastic.
I haven't seen any trailer. As a matter of fact, the only thing from there I've seen was the initial pictures of him in the makeup.
Oh, the trailer is so good.
A lot of the theories was that the character Joaquin Phoenix plays isn't actually the Joker, but I don't know how true that is. Like, I want to go back and watch the trailer now that it's out.
Yeah,
But
dude, I can't recommend it enough.
But yeah, I'm a Joker fanatic. I love Joker.
You will love it then.
Yeah, I definitely want to go see this take of the Joker. I like the various different ideas of the Joker, and yeah, so I definitely look forward, because this isn't a universe all unto itself. This apparently isn't a standalone universe. This has nothing to do with anything that's, this doesn't tie into any other origin story.
No. The one thing with Bray is, my fear is, this has to go somewhere where he's got to get in the ring.
Yes. This has to translate somehow in the ring.
Because if he's going to do the same stuff he always did, I don't think it's going to work.
Yeah, and is it going to be something like Finn Balor, where sometimes he wrestles as Bray, Mr. Bray Neighborhood, or,
That would be kind of interesting, where, like you just said, sometimes he wrestles as like the happy guy, and then sometimes he wrestles as the Fiend.
But the thing is, I don't trust Vince with that decision making.
100%.
Because that's all going to come down to what storylines he's in and who he's working with. Is he working babyface? Because I think this has a chance to get over as both.
Yeah.
And I mean that with the broader universe. Guys like us are marking out over it. Very few people, like, I don't know how many people I've actually seen say, like, oh, this is shit. Like, I really don't. You have more social media influence than I do. Like, you're on more stuff. Do you see people shit on it at all? And if so, how often?
I've noticed it's either a all or nothing with people. There's like no in between. They either love it or they hate it.
I mean, some parts of it, it's watching it, I get kind of like, Like I enjoy it, but it's like if my wife turned and asked me what the fuck I was watching, I don't know how I would react to it.
I'll tell you this: I really enjoyed the one with the Vince McMahon puppet.
The Muscle Man dance.
Dude, you can buy that shirt now
Oh, can you?
on WWE Shop.
I just I hope Vince doesn't really get into um like try to put his hands into this. I because I really enjoy this.
Yeah, let Bray just do his thing.
But yeah, and then I have to see it translate in the ring because otherwise it's not going to get over. You can have the coolest fucking shit in the world, and then they have to book him right on top of that.
Which I have no faith in whatsoever.
No, I think he'll be able to put together a moveset, that would work with the character. Like I think he's gonna. If they allow him to work the way he wants, I think that won't be a problem. I think he's the kind of person that will be able to translate that into the ring. It's just a matter of how much freedom he has allowed, with that, with who he faces, and how that stuff goes.
Because I always felt he's not appreciated enough by like because of the way he was booked for a long time, that how like really talented he is in the ring and on the mic.
Yeah, and the stuff that they did have him doing was just fucking pointless blathering. It just
Yeah.
yeah, it was cool in the beginning, and then people started realizing he's not really saying anything.
Well, in the beginning, he would actually say shit that made sense, and then after that, it was just like hokey stuff.
Yeah, he was speaking in tongues, and people were like, not really in tongues, but people were just like, "What are you talking
Like
about?"
in riddles.
Yeah,
Like me personally, I really enjoyed that first run when he would have the chair, the rocking chair, and then when he came back with that like the hologram thing, that's when it got stupid.
yeah, and the fact that they were gonna have him wrestle his Sister Abigail, which I still kind of wish happened, but thank God for fucking
And
mums.
him getting sick saved him. Who'd ever thought?
But the Fiend looks cool. I wonder when they're gonna have the next appearance of the Fiend, and if that's an indication of how rarely it's going to be seen on the main roster.
Yeah,
Like, but by main roster I mean
I knew. Yeah,
wrestling. So it's good. It's going to be interesting. I could see him. I could even see him possibly. And now this may be a stretch, and this would have to be all on him, and WWE letting it happen. I could see him wrestling as a heel, like his human form, and wrestling more as a babyface as the Fiend.
that'd be interesting.
Like the Fiend's more of a protector instead of like he's the psychotic one.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like when you have split personality, the fiend is the person that protects the other person, so to speak.
Yeah, and that would be more like like the I didn't want to say good like Shining White Knight, but more
Yeah,
like the anti-hero.
yeah,
Whereas Human Break could just be a masochistic, like hurt you, but in like he's just being nice about it. Like
yeah,
to me,
yeah.
that would be a fucking character, bro. Like that would be a psychological character, just always nice and just never angry and
Beat the snot out of you.
yeah, just like a gentleman, but not even like a gentleman, just somebody who's just very nice, just doesn't say a bad thing about you, and then just I think that would scare people on a whole other level.
You know who you just described,
Oh,
and it reminds me so much of him when you just said that was Waylon Mercy.
yeah, yeah, just a psychotic. Yeah,
Where like when he would come in the ring, he would shake his opponent's hand, and all that kind of stuff. And dude, like no one, in the younger generation remembers that. But if Dan Spivey never got hurt, that character would have went somewhere.
I like the juxtaposition of somebody who's just really nice and fucking polite and beat the fucking snot out of you, just absolutely like in the most deranged way, and then afterward just help you up, like not attack you afterward, just and not even be like I don't even want them to mention it only happens when the bell rings. I don't even want that to just be a thing. Like just
No, I know what you mean. I think it could be, like you said. I think that is more terrifying than anything.
yeah, bro. I always go back to Jake the Snake scared me when he was just regular Jake the Snake and he just cut a promo and he was just talking. Because he wasn't screaming, he looked like my neighbor. My neighbor had a handlebar mustache like that, or whatever kind of mustache you want to call what Jake had back then, and he looked just like my fucking neighbor with the mullet and everything. Except not, I had no idea how big Jake really was. But it's he looked like a normal guy. Guys like Hulk Hogan, like plus he wore pants. I mean, like that looked normal. Hulk Hogan wearing underwear kind of made it look like a superhero. He looked more like Superman.
Yeah.
Jake wore pants, so I mean, it was like he looked more like a regular guy. And I think the promo that I saw that he's scared, he was wearing jeans. Like he's a Hulk Hogan in jeans.
Yeah, well, I always now that I watch it back, a lot of his stuff, he was like, a quote unquote good guy for a long time, but like when you listen to him, I'm like, you couldn't really, he was like an anti-hero.
Whom?
Jake.
Yeah, and then for a while he was full heel. Like he did his best work as a bad guy.
My favorite run of his was the last 2 years he was in the WWF in like 91, 92.
Okay.
When he had the snake in the at the wedding reception for the Macho Man.
Yes. When he was super heel.
Yeah, I love that Jake Roberts.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I really liked Bad Guy Jake, and I think that he just played that up. And I think his whole demeanor, I think that was a lot like Randy Orton. Randy Orton should never be a babyface. Everything about Randy Orton, the way he wrestles, everything, even when he's a babyface, he wrestles as a heel.
I'll say this: I never really liked Orton, period. But when he was, I forget the WrestleMania. But when he was the heel and he wrestled Triple H, the build up to that was well done.
Yeah, where he kissed Stephanie.
Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, I love Orton when he's a heel. I think he's slow and methodical. I think that makes him a boring babyface. I think that makes him a very good heel. He knows how to take his time and be patient. I don't like Randy, but I know he's great at what he does, and I know many people have said that if you're going to build a fucking pro wrestler, you're not too far off from the perfect specimen with Randy.
I remember Jericho always saying that he would be annoyed because he would have to work so hard to do what Orton did, but he made it look effortless.
Yeah, and he also said, like, non-wrestlers will never understand how good he is, like how easy things are for him, and if he ever really tried, like he doesn't have to try to go in and give a 4-star match.
Yeah, imagine if he really put effort into it.
Yeah, which is, I could kind of understand that to an extent, but I don't know. I've never been a big.
Yeah.
I've never been a big fan.
No, I just always found him boring.
Yeah.
Or I guess I should say bland.
Yeah, he was never my type of worker. I never liked his style of work. I like him as a super, super evil heel. Like what you said for him and Hunter when he's just a psychological heel. But yeah, I don't know what I'm going to say.
That's all good. I was going to say, I remember when he was wrestling Sheamus for a while, him and Sheamus, and them fucking matches about killed me, man.
Oh, when every week was Randy Orton and Sheamus?
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Sheamus is another guy who I like him way more as a heel.
I think his career might be over because he's injured and he probably shouldn't be wrestling anyway.
Yeah, I've heard that he's in real shit shape.
He's got spinal stenosis,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
he probably shouldn't be wrestling.
it's a shame. But I'm actually okay with wrestlers getting out of wrestling at a young age.
Yes, while you still have all your faculties.
Yeah, I don't want to see people get hurt long term. Like I said earlier, I don't want to see people really injured. They're here for entertainment, and like I feel guilty watching something and finding out somebody got legitimately injured because I put myself in that situation. I'm out here, doing a job, and I'm somewhat aware of how shitty conditions can be in the back. And if I'm a lower tier guy who never really gets to work and then I get hurt, like that's fucking awful, bro.
Definitely. And I don't want to see someone end up like Mr. Onita, who's in his 60s and on, like, I think his fourth set of knee replacements.
Yeah, like there's no reason for that. Like, enjoy your life. Like, I know people will argue, well, yeah, he is enjoying his life, but still, though, it's. I don't know.
That crazy bastard still getting blown up at 60.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. I'd feel guilty. I'd feel
I
guilty
hear
trying to
you,
get.
man. All right,
Oh.
before we get out of here for today, what do you got planned for this weekend?
I don't really know. Maybe stuff with my wife. I don't know. What else? I know. I think next weekend we're going to Baltimore, so we may need to do like an early recording as well. I think I'm going. I think she has some kind of a fucking reunion.
Oh, okay, cool.
Not cool.
You get to get out of the house.
Yay! That's what I like doing. Fucking Baltimore. I mean, that's like saying I'm going to Jersey. No offense, but that's like, hey, you're going to fucking Trenton. Like, boo.
You're going to Jersey City. No disrespect to them.
They have like these big carts that people like ride along, and it's like it's supposed to like a whole group of people like pedal, and it moves you along. And I'm like, what is fun with this?
Oh,
Like,
a Surrey, I think it's called.
bro, I have no idea, but I am not fucking excited about that whatsoever. I was just like, yay.
I used to ride them all the time at the shore in the summertime.
But where like 5 or 6 people just get on and
they all
everybody
pedal.
and fuck that shit, bro. I'm old,
Dude, when I was a kid, I would never pedal.
bro. That shit ain't fair. I'm the lightest one on that thing, and I'm gonna have to do so much extra work that I don't need to do. I'll have to make up for so many other people's weight.
I have a real quick funny story about that. I'll never forget it. Me and my parents were on one of those things and pedaling, and we were coming down the boardwalk where you gotta turn it back in. Well, me and my mom were on one side and my dad was on the other, and me and my mom both decided to get off, and my dad didn't know, and the whole thing shifted to one side, and he almost took a header.
Oh boy. I was just like, oh yay! I'm like, I'm not a fucking athletic person. Like, why would I find this fun? I'm like, I have no say in it. That's what they're doing as a group. But my wife is like, oh, you're not excited? But no, I'm not excited. But yeah, so
Man,
that's next weekend.
that's funny.
So,
I am.
how about you?
I'm doing Tremont show tonight at the H2O Wrestling Center, and then tomorrow, one of my buddies, I'm gonna pick him up. He's coming over to hang out for the day. I think we're gonna go play mini golf.
Mini golf is so highly underrated. I love me some mini golf.
Well, yeah. Well, there's a Rita's 5 minutes from my house, and they have a mini golf thing in the back, and it's $5 for unlimited play.
Oh, that's not bad at all.
No, so if it's not like too hot, we'll play like 2 or 3 rounds.
That's not bad at all, bro. I would take advantage of that in a heartbeat.
Hell yeah. And then I got to pick up little man sometime on Sunday for Father's Day. But before I forget, happy Father's Day to all the dads out there.
And all the single moms doing double duty.
That too.
I always flip that around on Mother's Day, so I'd
Oh,
be a hypocrite
absolutely.
not
I
to flip that
agree.
around on Father's Day.
So yeah, I'll do something with him. He told me this morning. He's like, "Can we go see a movie?" I was like, "But there's nothing out worth paying money for."
And there's nothing right now, right?
Like, cause he wants to really see Spider-Man, but that doesn't come out for like 2 or 3 more weeks.
Yeah, so just wait 2 or 3 weeks and then go with them.
Yeah, there's that, and then the new Toy Story's coming out real soon.
Yeah, avoid Dark Phoenix. I heard it's the worst fucking X-Men movie out of all.
Really?
Oh, bro, yeah, absolutely. It's on Rotten Tomatoes. Apparently, it's super low rated.
The one I really wanted to see, and they keep pushing it back, is the New Mutants.
Huh.
Because I remember I saw a trailer for it one time when I took my boy to see like a Marvel movie, and it looked really good and like dark, but they keep pushing it back for some reason.
Is that was the one that was rated R?
Maybe.
Huh.
But like they reshot a bunch of stuff, and I'm gonna have to look it up.
Interesting.
'Cause, it was one of the like Marvel movies that I was like, wow, this looks like, because it was really really dark.
Yeah, I know that they had one that I'm pretty sure was an R-rated Marvel movie. What was it called?
The New Mutants.
I'm 99% sure that was it.
Okay.
Um,
I'm gonna Google it when we jump off of here to see.
it's saying it's coming out in 2020.
Oh wow.
Now, no, I'm sorry. August 2nd, 2019 it's saying. So it's actually coming out soon.
Okay, because they've backed it up at least twice.
Well, it's,
Well, hopefully it does come out now. I'm excited.
yeah, it'll be interesting. 'Cause, yeah,
Definitely.
I'm pretty sure that's their first R-rated movie.
Nice. But on that note, we're going to get out of here for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, give it a thumbs up, all that good stuff. And we'll see you back next week. Have a good day, everybody.